we're gonna be going. You're gonna say, what are we doing for the first half of this time together? Let's get in the Bible. But instead, it's gonna sound like I'm just gonna reminisce with you. But amen. We're gonna do it this morning, or this evening, excuse me. And so let's do this. I want you to relax for a few minutes. All right. I want to show you just kind of what the Lord allowed us, my family, to do last for at least 5 of the days when we were gone. And I got to do something that I never, I dreamed, I should say. I can't say I never dreamed. I did dream about doing it. Years ago when we were, my family and I we were in China, and we were going to make 2017 our furlough year in the ministry. That didn't mean we could stop working. We still had work. But I was going to have somebody else take over the ministry there, and for 1 year I was not going to be a pastor. And so my family and I had dreams, and we decided let's try to go to Europe, and we made kind of a vote on that. And so we started watching some little things on the internet about places to go so we could understand it better. And during that time we discovered that there were such things as canals. Now canals are a little different than rivers. A river flows, but then a canal doesn't usually flow. A canal is actually man-made. It's like a man-made river. They just dig it out. And so let me see who we are here. Hey, Daniel, can you see the TV okay? If you listen, it's going to be interesting. So, guys, if you guys want to come get closer, you little guys, if you want to come up here, that's fine, okay? And then our other guys are ushers, just wrap them up and so you can settle in. And if your parents are okay with it and you want to come up here, you can. Because if you want to see that, we're going to look at some pictures up there. And it's from your distance. If you brought binoculars, it'd probably be good. Yeah, but we should. You're going to turn on those lights. There we go. And, all right, that's better. And so I'm going to just kind of show you what we did. It was 2 of my kids are graduating this year, and so their grandmother, my mother-in-law, told them that they're going to go on a senior trip. And she had sold a house recently, and everything's sitting in the middle. But this, by the way, this is Josiah Jaster, and he does bite, but yeah, he already ate a lot of meals today. So he ate a lot, so he should be okay for a while. And so Josiah and Amelia got to choose where they're going to go on this thing that their grandmother had prepared. So okay, you're going to go on a senior trip. And so they eventually made the decision, we're going to go on this adventure to the country of the Netherlands. And I can't say that the Netherlands was not on my bucket list of sorts, but it wasn't like it was an imperative. My own ancestors sort of come from there. But boy, that's exciting. And there's these little canals that go all the way through the country, all over the place. And so it was kind of been a dream of our families for a long time that someday we could do something like that. Or we get on one of those river boats, and you know, it's got a little bunk bed, and you just tootle through and stop places, and maybe have a bike on board where you just kind of pull to the side and let a couple kids off to ride the bikes, and they go follow along the boat, and that sounded like wow, that would be fun to do. And so we ended up, Josiah basically was in charge of planning most of this, and so he was supposed to be graduating, instead he was planning this, and so he did a great job of planning this, amen. And but actually it was not easy to figure out because there's so many options. There's little canals everywhere. And so tonight I'm going to show you kind of what we did a little bit. I'm going to pull this up. I'm going to take over here. There might be a number that pops up. Brother, do I have the screen behind you still? Available to me? Oh, good. Hey, it's working already. Look at that. Okay, boom. Okay, now, so this is Josiah's iPad. Why do I have Josiah's iPad? Because Josiah spent the money to get the app that was the actual app that will show us where the different places you can go. This is the paid-for app. I had to preach on this soon because once it expires, we're done with it. Amen? So it had to be done quick. And so I said, Josiah, you still got that app? And what you're looking at, you can see those dots toward the top. That's the city of Amsterdam. And so if you look at that big, this thing starts with a Z, wherever that is right there. That right there is where the boat was. In the bottom right-hand corner right there was where the boat was that we had to get to. So we had to figure out how to get from the big city of Brussels. We took a train. And we just got off at some arbitrary stop that Google said to get off at. And then we ended up taking a city bus and then getting out there and then walking to where the boat was. And so that's what we did. We spent 5 days on a boat. And so it was going to be a lot of us. Our family is 6 people, and then grandma, so that makes 7. So that's a lot of people on a boat. And you got to understand something about grandma. Grandma has never been enthusiastic about being on the sea in any way. And so we tried to convince her, this is not really on the sea, it's on a canal. And the boat will not rock at all, it'll be great. But you see, part of it is that she doesn't really see much sense in being cramped into a little tiny cabin when she could be in a hotel right next to it. And so we kind of talked a little bit about the different options on the boat. And we discovered we can get, for a good price, we can get one of the larger boats, which gives us more space, more elbow room. So we had reserved this boat, and so we went down to get the boat, and it was down here. You see those little black lots? That's the place where the boat was. And so we were going to get the boat, and you're on this big lake. And so what we want to do is we're going to make a loop. I'm going to show you kind of what we had sort of in our minds, envisioned for what we were going to do. I'm going to take a screenshot so I can draw on this. Now, I'm going to zoom in a little bit, and I'm going to try to show you what we had kind of in mind. If I can do it. There we go. Can I draw now? Oops. How about now? What's my problem, Josiah? Can't do it when I draw. Maybe like this. My finger's too big? What? It's not drawing. Draw, you crazy thing. Well, this sermon is over. No, I seriously can't draw. Oh, well, you're going to have to just trust me on this, that we were planning on going somewhere. That's weird. Let me see here. Oh, is that the problem? Brother, I hope you're right. Nope. Push done. Don't save it. Delete the thing. Try it again. Just so you get frustrated with me, I'm going to use an iPad. Oh, well. Well, let me show you what we're going to do anyway. So, let me see. I wish I had some sort of way I could draw on this thing. But I'm going to just save it. Oh, you turned a setting on. Oh, special settings. Okay, so let me explain what we're going to do then. Okay, you're going to have to visualize it. Okay, you ready? We were going to go from here down to this spot right there. You see that spot right there? You see it? Now, what you're seeing is that orange little round thing is telling you that's a bridge. If you can look at it, if you can't see it from where you are probably, but I can, and you can see it's kind of showing the little thing like this. That means it's a bridge. The brown thing, that brown dot right there is telling you that's a lock. Now, what is a lock? We know what a bridge is. What's a lock? Well, here's how it works. Amsterdam is, with their canals, some of their waterways are higher than others. So this canal is a little bit higher than the level of the lake. So what they do is they built a little dam. And that dam, the way it works is that the dam is going to keep that water from flowing out. But then how do you get boats in there? They built a lock. So here's how it's going to work. If I come back here, I'm going to zoom in, and you can see how this is going to work. That's where we got the boat right there. We toodled over here. And let me explain to you, this boat was quite a bit bigger than I was thinking. And especially when you're finally up there. And here's how boats work. If you're not familiar with at least the boat we had, I don't think most boats are this bad. But our boat was sort of like this. Especially when we first started. It was like this. You get on it, and you push the throttle, and you start going forward. And as you're heading toward a very expensive boat, you don't want to hit it. So you begin to turn, and you go like this, and the boat keeps going straight. And you turn it, and finally it slowly does, but it doesn't like turn like this. It kind of turns like that. And then as you turn, you look over here, and you're about to hit another very expensive boat. So then you begin to turn the other way as fast as you possibly can, and the boat slowly turns. And it's a very scary moment. We came up to this bridge, and here's the problem with the bridge. If I were to go back to this place, and I were to click on this little button, it says, should I read these tonight? Yes, should I read them? Forget it. I'm Dutch, right? No, I'm not. Okay, now, what this says is it says 28, which really means 2.8 meters when the bridge is closed. It is 2.8 meters high. Now, this is a bummer for us because the boat we got, this is important tonight, so don't forget this number. It is 2.9 meters from the water to the top. It's bad. So, it's a big boat. It's 13 meters long, 2.9 meters high, don't forget that, and it's 4.3 meters wide. If you say, what do those mean? Don't worry about it, it's just the numbers, okay? What this is saying is that when the bridge is down, it is 2.8 meters off the water. So if we try to go under that, we are going to cause a lot of damage to the boat, which we'll have to pay for. So that's not a good idea. But if we wait and call the telephone number, which is right there, then they will open the bridge. And when they open the bridge, that 91 means it'll be 9.1 meters high. We can fit. So I'm on the lake, been on there for 15 minutes, and we've got to go under our first bridge. And so I'm nervous. I'm on the helm there trying to steer this big old thing. And Josiah's phone is connected so he can make phone calls. So he is doing the phone calls, trying to tell him we need to open the bridge. We don't really know how it's supposed to work, but we get on it. Fortunately, gloriously, he speaks a little English. Amen. So he tells us 15 minutes. 15 minutes! Now we're on a lake in the low country. There's no mountains. There's wind. It's blowing pretty good. And I am trying to keep this thing steady, waiting for whatever's supposed to happen. Boats who are shorter than us are coming and going. So I got to get out of their way for 15 minutes. I feel like an idiot because this thing is just going like crazy all over the place. But finally we hear the ding, 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 and we look up and the arms are coming to block traffic on this highway that's going across. So here's the moment. Now I've already realized in those few minutes that the lake is probably not big enough for me, let alone the little, but we go for it. So we start going through there. And I am so nervous, I'm going to smash into the side like right away. In fact, when we got the boat, the lady told us that just the day before, somebody had rented one of these boats, all this thing, come all the way to the Netherlands, was on the boat for less than an hour, and called and said, we're done. She told us that. Now, I'm starting to think, I know exactly why they did that. We get through there. Now, after you get through there, we come to this thing called the lock. And so we're going through, ding, 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 ding. I look, all the cars are stopped. We have caused major traffic jams on both ways just for us. We get through, wave at the bridge guy, and go through, and then ding, 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 and then I got to wave at the, sorry cars, sorry ruining your afternoon, and they get through and they can go again. Now, the lock is going to look like this. I'm going to show you guys from especially our children, so they know what I'm talking about. That's the lock. You see, on the right side there, that water is higher than on the left side. So what they do is they have two sets of gates. They close these gates over here, and then they let all the water flow out so it's the same level as on the left side. Then with those gates open, we got in there. And we got in. It's our first time at a lock. We've seen it on the internet. Now we're doing it. We try to look like professionals. They're actually laughing at us. And we get that boat in there. Two other boats come in with us. Then those back doors shut. And then slowly they fill it with water and bring all our boats up about this high to the level of the water on the right. Then when we're the same level, they open up the doors on the right, and now we can go. And when we can go, that means we can go down this beautiful canal. It was so fun. We were finally free. So we now can go along this beautiful canal, and here's our goal. We're going to go down this canal, down this way, to this big, huge river. And our goal is to eventually make it all the way in a big loop through Amsterdam. And then if you look over here, there's the city of Haarlem. And we eventually decided we're going to go down Haarlem to Haarlem, and we're going to make a big loop, and the loop is eventually going to take us right back there. We've got 5 days to the loop, and let's go! So we went, and I had figured out by looking at this cool little map that if we come up this big, huge river, this is actually like a river, and it's got huge barges, like hundreds of feet long, and with all sorts of commerce on that thing. And so now we're getting rocked a little bit on the boat. It's super fun. But if you come up here and circle around this way, suddenly you're on this little canal here, and it's beautiful. It's so picturesque. And we just get to go this way. And we made our way that evening all the way up to this city right here, the city of Visp or Vesp or Vasp. We argue incessantly about how it's supposed to be said. But whatever it was beautiful. And that night, I had a very stressful few minutes because I had to now dock this thing on the side next to another boat without crushing it. And by God's grace and my son's skills, we did it. And I did not want to admit this, but eventually had to be, Josiah is the official driver of our family. I am his assistant, and I look like I'm in charge by yelling at him on what he's supposed to be doing, and he ignores me and does whatever is supposed to be done. And that's how we ended up not destroying any property somehow. So we did that. And then the next day we went to church, came back, And then we went down this little canal here, back onto the big canal. We came up here to Amsterdam, the big city. And we docked in this little place right there. It was so beautiful, so great. And I asked Josiah, I said, just pick for me a couple of the videos so I can show you. I'll show you in a minute a couple of the pictures of videos so you can kind of get a picture of it. But then when we finished there, we were there for 2 nights and a full day. I forget how long we were there. We were there. It was great. And then we went on this beautiful, beautiful cruise over here and eventually came down this way, right down here, and made our way down to the city of Haarlem. Oh, by the way, kids, do you know the story of Anne Frank? Okay, that happened in Amsterdam. And we got to see her house. How many here know the story of Corrie ten Boom? How many know the story? Oh, good. Well, her house is in Haarlem. So I ran my bike over there and took a picture in front of her door. And I was like, I know you're up there. Actually, they're gone now. And so we went to Haarlem, and the goal was to come down around. And so that was our goal. Now, I want you to look at this map tonight, and I want you to notice something about it. Do you see all those red circles? Do you see them? Of course you see them, right? Now, if you look carefully, you'll also see some orange circles. And if you look very carefully, you'll see every once in a while a green circle. Those are all bridges. They're all bridges. But they mean something. The green one means at any time, because we put our boat's information into this app, and so it knows where we can go safely. And the green one means that at any time, we can just make it under that bridge. Whether it's open or closed, we can make it. We're not too big. We're small enough we can go into that. That's what the green one means. The orange one means that we cannot make it unless they do something first, like open the bridge. We got to have some that went up like this, some that went like this, some that would twist like that, and then you could go through. It was neat. But you had to get it open for yourself, and we weren't very good at that for a while. We never got really good at it. It was best to find a Dutch person, a Dutch boat, and follow them. That was the best plan. But it had to be open. Now, here's what the red one means. The red one means we don't fit. What it means, we don't fit. So that'll be important. Now, would you like to see just a couple of videos real quick? Just real fast, just so you can get a picture of what we're doing. This is what we did here. Let me see here. I just decided to grab a couple. Isn't this neat? Can you see it? Is it working? Is it working? Okay, that's us. We're about to go through that bridge right there. And that's the bow or the front of our boat. And we're going to go through there into that bridge, going there. Oh, boy, goodness. And you can see Tabitha is praying up there, whatever she's doing. And as you can see, our youngsters really had no stress. Now, my wife took the stress on just because. And Josiah and I, we really had the stress because we were going to wreck that boat. And Josiah never looked concerned, though. His dad looked very concerned every time. But we made it. Isn't that pretty? So that's what we did. Okay, another one. Now, this is where we would dock the boat. This was a miracle docking. We came, I mean, that close to hitting a very nice boat. But he was in charge, so we made it. And I just was like, you're doing good! Made it. And it was good. And now this is a beautiful moment that Josiah took this. This is the evening we were there outside. That was Amsterdam across the way. That was Amsterdam. And that's us in there eating Amelia's amazing cooking. And so that's us inside the boat. Okay? And so you kind of get a feel for that. And this is now on the big river. You can see there's some big boats. And there's Tabitha driving. What is this? And so now you can see why we almost wrecked the boat over and over and over. And so, yes, she has a license. No, she doesn't have a license. What am I talking about? So there you go. And so you can see here, this is now us there. There's Josiah doing the driving. We're coming up somewhere. We're coming down. Look, it's opening. And there's our little bicycles that we drove to church. There they are. And so that's us doing that thing. And you can see the green lights. There's a red light and a green light, and that means we can go now. And we got to get there quick because those cars are waiting. And I felt terrible every single time. And and those people on the other side are waiting for us to get through so they can get through. So there you go. Are you clear on what we did? Good. Let me see. I think that's it. There's the boat. I want you to see that. You see that boat right there? You see that boat? We could have chosen a smaller boat. We chose that one. Why? We point on your side, brother. Why did we choose this boat? Because we're a big family. We wanted to be comfortable. We wanted to get through this trip without being frustrated or in each other's hair. Have some elbow room. So we got the bigger boat. That was good. It was fun. You can see right here, they're worshiping the water here. I don't know what's going on there. Up here, you say, what is your wife doing up there? She is barbecuing, okay? Isn't that a blessing? Why is she barbecuing? Here's what happened, folks. We had a great trip, came all the way down through Harlem. Now it's time to make our way back around. But here's what we discovered. As I am the navigator, trying to figure out how we're going to go, examining all the maps, trying to figure everything out, I have discovered something to my deep chagrin, that there is no direct way back to the lake. I thought there was. I looked on the maps, there was. Where did it go? Now it's a bunch of red dots on my map. Fortunately, there was at least another way. Still going to take a long time. We're going to be on the boat for like all day because we have to go the long way back. So we started that trip. Things were going well. Then we got to a place where we were waiting for a bridge, and then the bridge opened, and we turned on the engine and it didn't start. And I found out the starter had died. Now, we have now been on the boat for like 4 days, spending hours most day on the boat. But we are so slow that the boat people could be there in like 30 minutes. That's good for us because now they came over and fixed our starter. But we were stuck there for a couple hours. Now I'm really under the gun. We got to get going. So we started going until we got to this place right here. And we pulled up to the place and talked to the bridge guy and asked him to open the bridge. What bridge? I'll show you the bridge we opened. This bridge needs to be open right there. See that one? Just need to open that bridge, and then we're gone. The man said it'll be about 10 minutes. I said, all right. I said, it'll be 10 minutes. So we waited about 20 minutes, called him back. He said, oh, it'll be about an hour. Well, that's a little different. Now we're like, what? We've already lost hours. So I'm starting to get like, boy, we got to get this back. It was already at this time in the afternoon. I'm not sure what time this picture was taken. That was taken at 5:17 at night. So we would have been there at this point for over a couple hours. We got there on before 3. Now we have to be all the way back around by 9 a.m. the next morning, and we can't go at night. They don't let you drive at night. So I've got to figure out, oh my goodness, I'm already decided, okay, tomorrow morning we're up at 6. We're going to get this all back in time. We got to get this thing open. So we're waiting for this thing an hour. So we waited an hour. And then we found out this. They called back again, and they said, well, here's the problem. There is a power outage for the whole area. It's nothing to do with the bridge. There's a power outage, but the bridge can't lift because there's no power. We don't know when it's going to be better. So several of the people that had come to that same thing had turned around and gone back. We don't have that option because now we're going to go like 3 days journey back. Can't happen. So there we are, waiting. And we're waiting. Finally, my wife says, oh, it's time to make dinner. So she made dinner. And we're waiting for this thing to open. And we waited. We had dinner. And it was delightful. And we waited longer. And we waited. And we waited. This is behind our boat right there. Isn't that pretty? And this guy right here gave up and started making his own dinner, bedding down for the night. Everybody else turned around and left. And so we're just waiting for that bridge to open. And I finally was getting really antsy. And I explained to them, I've got to get through. And so now, being so far north, daylight stretches way into the evening. So even at 10 o'clock at night, there's still a faint bit of dusk. And normally the bridge will no longer be open and closed after 10 o'clock at night. And so I called and asked about that. And he said, well, because of this situation, if it opens before 11, and we will still open it for you. Well, by 10:15 or so, I realized it's way too dark. I cannot navigate this thing in a completely black canal. And I don't even know the place. And it's actually against the rules when we rented. So I told the family, I said, okay, we're stuck here. Nothing we can do. We're going to sleep here tonight. Tomorrow morning, we're out here. First thing. Now, the first one, 6 a.m. So at 5:30, I was ready to go, and sure enough, 5:52, they opened this thing for us early. We went. Now we're on our way. So we started going through this system, and we ended up seeing some beautiful, it was early morning. It was just me and my wife and that hum of the engine with the birds, and there's mist coming off. It's just spectacularly beautiful. But I'm just worried about the fact that we've got to get this boat back to this lake as soon as possible. We happen to be on this canal right here, and we were coming up to this spot, excuse me, right here. Whatever that is, Uberkirk Kirk means church, by the way. Okay, I learned something. We got there a couple hours into it at just 7 o'clock. Made a phone call. Now, do you see what's on that map, a little exclamation point? Let me show you what it says. It says, if you can read the English part of that thing, from 7 in the morning until 1600, they're not going to open it for us. There's instruction. Uh-oh. It's just after 7. Make the phone call, no answer. I finally really read that exclamation point. I'm like, no way. There is no way. I jump off the boat, run up there, talk to the construction guy, and he says, no, it's not before 7. No, it's for 3 weeks. We're not opening the bridge at all for anybody. Now, let me show you something very frustrating to me. I'm going to tap on this orange ball, okay? And if you can't see it, I'll tell you what it says. It says that when this is open, a boat that's 10.5 meters off the water can get through. We're only 2.9. So when this thing's open, boom, no problem. But if you look at the other dot, it says when it's closed, it says 27, which means a boat that's 2.7 meters off the water could get through. And we're free and clear. But we're 2.9. We're so frustrated. We are now, there's no other option. Now, folks, this country is full of canals. Full of canals. Everywhere there's canals. But we have been slowly realizing that our options are limited to really only this one route or going back the exact same way because we're a little bit too wide and a little bit too tall. We're going to turn around. We're going to be very, very, very late. We are now supposed to fly out. The 4 of us fly back here that night. And we are crazy far away from the end. I could not. You got to be kidding. Can you open the bridge? We just need that much. That's all we need. And we're good to go because there ain't nothing we can do. Get back on the boat. What we're going to do? Now, I'll show you how a miracle. Look at this. If you go back a little bit, do you see that, what I see off to the right? There's another canal. And that bridge is orange, which means we can get under it. And if you keep going, look at that. Another orange one. And this is actually really cool because it's taking us directly back to this lake we want to be at. It would actually be faster. Woo! So I started looking at it, following with my eyes, and then I came to this green one. Green is good. Green means we go underneath it with no problems. Thank you, Lord. And then I came to that one. And it is red. So I clicked on it. And you know what it says? It says when it's open, a boat, it says 43, which means 4.3 meters high can get through that when it's open. Well, guess what? We're only 2.9. That means we can get through there. But it's red. So I got a little nervous. Because now, we're turning the boat around. We are pressed for time. I cannot waste time on wild goose chases, and this is obviously a narrow canal. It's hard to turn around. I mean, obviously, I can't be wrong. I can't be wrong. So I'm worried, why is this red? Why is it red? So I took that name, you can start to say it, Brug. Brug means bridge. I then looked it up on Google, and then had it translated from Dutch, and here's what I discovered. It says right there, width, 4.3 meters wide. Guess how wide our boat is? Exactly 4.3 meters wide. Can we fit? Thank you, brother. Thank you. That was what I was thinking too. Do you know that, brother, as dumb as I am, I would have tried it. I would have said, we're just going to try it. And we're just going to turn off the engine, and we'll just pull it by the ropes. right through. We cannot be late. We've got flights to catch. Unfortunately, I thought, oh my goodness, how can it be that close? How can it be that close? By this point, I have a bad attitude that we got a big boat. Unfortunately, if we get past it, look at orange, that's good. And we got to get down there. Uh-oh, 2 more red. And these ones, there's no way. Guess what, folks? We had to go all the way back around. We were not back by 9 a.m. We were not back by noon. We were not back by 4 p.m. At 7, we dumped the boat in Amsterdam. It was their instructions. Okay, we can't make it back. We have flights to catch. All right, leave the boat. We got to leave the boat somewhere. Tie it up. Put the keys in a special spot. It was weird. It was a bummer. There was no closure to that. But here's what I want to talk to you tonight about. This simple thing. Do you see on here? Do you see all the red? Do you see all the red on there? Oh, there's a lot of red dots. You see those red? Every one of those red dots is an obstacle that a smaller boat could get under. But we cannot. Either because we are too tall or because we're too wide. And almost every single time, it's not because we're much too tall or much too wide. Mostly it's because we're a little bit too tall and a little bit too wide. In other words, if we had had a smaller boat, it would have opened up to us a plethora of options each day to go down cute little canals, to see cute little cities and cute little windmills and to see farms and so forth. But we were limited in what we could do because we had chosen a bigger boat. With that in mind, I want you to take your Bibles, would you? I want you to go with me to the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 10. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verse number 10. Ecclesiastes chapter 5. We'll start in the 10th verse. Let me tell you what I learned in this trip. I learned several things. I learned one, to pay attention when your map has an exclamation point next to it. You know what we want to do? We want to live life and go through this life as comfortable as possible. We want to pick the vessel that would allow us to have the most elbow room, that would allow us to have the most opulence, that would allow us to have the most gadgets and toys. That's what we want for ourselves. We want to have stuff. And you know what happens in most lives? We get so much stuff that it ends up limiting what we're able to do in our lives. The things that we accumulate end up slowing us down and taking away options that we could have. What you and I get used to in our life actually keeps us from being able to do as much as we otherwise could do. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, let's look at verse number 10. He that loveth silver shall not be satisfied with silver, nor he that loveth abundance with increase. And then Solomon says this, and this is a man who sought for both these things. Solomon says, this is also vanity. You know what that means? That means that when you do get the bigger boat, it's not big enough. You'll need a bigger boat. And I can tell you that we had exactly that happen. Our entire trip, we would see absolutely beautiful vessels go by us, people's private vessels, and it was like, oh, wow. Now, you would think that ours is like so big, we're like, oh, that's just a vessel. But no, it was like, that would be the way to go. I mean, what? But that's just true. Look at verse 11. When goods increased, they are increased that eat them. Is that true? Is that true? Brother Phillips, is that true? That when you finally have your own second home, things happen, you got to fix the second home up. When goods increase, they're increased to eat them. You think that when I got a bigger bank account, and I can do more. But actually what happens, this is true to some extent, but you still have more things that you now got to spend money on. It's weird. When goods increased, they are increased that eat them. And what good is there to the owners thereof, saving the beholding of them with their eyes. What does that mean? Let me explain real quickly here. We live in California. If you ever get a chance to get into a really, really fast car, like a Ferrari, you will discover that they are very compact. It's kind of hard to get out of. In fact, it's so compact. And when you're in there, it's not like it's plush like a Mercedes. I mean, the seats aren't that much more comfortable than if you got your Toyota Corolla. And when you get in there, sure enough, that engine sounds so good. It's just powered. Ooh, it's still so good. And then when you go, you come to a stop sign. Just like you're a Toyota Corolla. And you stop. And you go again, and you go 25 miles an hour. I'm not sure like me, you go 30. Whatever. You get to a stoplight, you got to stop. Finally, you get on 101. And you're going 60. On a good day, unless you're really lucky, 70. Maybe 75 if you get in the fast lane. Just like the Toyota Corolla. But why would people continue to buy high-end cars? I'll tell you why. Because when I pull up to my driveway, open my garage with my Toyota Corolla and see my Ferrari sitting in there, it feels good, doesn't it? You'll say, that is mine. You know what? Read this again, see if you understand it. Try to pull up its meaning. It says, and what good is there to the owners thereof, saving the beholding of them with their eyes? You know, ladies, if your husband could lavish upon you the jewelry befitting a true queen, you would be weighted down with massive, beautiful jewelry. You wouldn't mind, I don't think. But what good would it be to you? So you can look at it. We can look at it. Is that bad? No, but that's what you get. I mean, that's what you get with it. You say, I don't like this, preacher. Well, it's just true, though. That's why we don't like Ecclesiastes very much. But I want you to see verse number 12. I want you to see verse number 12. This verse number 12 is the crux of this. The sleep of a laboring man is sweet, whether he eat little or much. But the abundance of the rich will not suffer him to sleep. Apparently, when you have a ton of money, when you have a ton of stuff, it actually hinders you in your ability to sleep because you're worried about it all the time. That's what it says. The Bible tells us, but the abundance of the rich will not suffer him to sleep. Now, the Bible says in verse 13, this doesn't just bother you, okay? It bothers Solomon, who wrote it. He said in verse 13, there is a sore evil which I have seen under the sun, namely, riches kept for the owners thereof to their hurt. So apparently it's possible that you accumulate so much that eventually it hinders you in your life. So what does this mean? This means this. You may discover that God does not allow you to have as much as you would like because He wants to keep you available. The day may come when He calls you to do something where if you had more, you wouldn't be able to do it. If you had a bigger abundance, you couldn't do it. Let's look at a couple areas this is true, shall we? Go to 1 Corinthians chapter 7, and I want you to know, this is not going to be for most of us. This is going to be for some. And I want you to see what this is Bible tonight. We're just looking at all scriptures that have to do with the idea that we can somehow bless ourselves to our own limitation in life. And in Romans chapter 1 Corinthians chapter number 7, Paul is writing here to the Corinthian church, and you're going to see part of Paul's mentality. This is one of those interesting verses where he actually says, this is my opinion. Verse number 25, he says this, now concerning virgins, those are those who've never been married. Now concerning virgins, I have no commandment of the Lord. Okay, so concerning virgins, God did not say to Paul they should marry or not marry. He doesn't have a commandment from the Lord. There's no command you have to get married, and there's no command you cannot get married. Yet, verse 25 says, I give my judgment as one that hath obtained mercy of the Lord to be faithful. Now, let me say, in my life, I am so glad that I got married. And Paul was not someone who didn't have any interest in being married, but God had somehow given Paul mercy that he was able to endure living life without a spouse. And it took mercy from God to be able to be faithful in it. And he admits it here. Then verse 20, now, this is his judgment. Verse 26. I suppose, therefore, that this is good for the present distress, I say, that it is good for a man so to be. To be what? Unmarried. Okay, Paul? That's Paul's opinion. Okay, thank you, Paul. Verse number 27. Art thou bound to a wife? Seek not to be loosed. Art thou loosed from a wife? Seek not a wife. So if you're here tonight, you're like, brother, I got married and now I'm limited. I want to be divorced. No. He says, you're married? You stay married. But he says this, are you loosed from a wife? Isn't that interesting? He uses these words in this. Are you bound? Are you bound? Do you realize what Paul said? In Paul's opinion, if he were to have a wife, it would be like limiting himself. If you keep going, you'll see him say exactly this. He says, verse number 28, if you get married, you haven't sinned, it's okay. But verse 32 says this. First, look at verse 32. But I would have you without carefulness. What is carefulness? Full of care. What full of care? I would imagine in this room that there are men who don't need to have cushions on their couch. I would imagine there are men in here who, if the air conditioner broke, they would just kick it. And if it didn't fix it, they would just let it sit broken. There are probably men in this room who, if they did not have carpet that was cleaned every 6 months, they would just say, oh, well, they wouldn't even take off their shoes, just walk in the house and walk on their own carpet. Oh. I imagine it's been like that. But your wives may have a different feeling about all these things. And you're going to have a lot of care saying, how am I going to provide our family with what my wife needs as a bare minimum to be able to survive and be happy? Years ago, I went to China, and my wife will snicker at this. I did not want to buy furniture because I wanted us to be mobile. So our first dresser was a plastic bin with drawers in it, like super cheap. We did have a bed because when we moved in, we already had a bed in there. Josiah's crib was a pack and play. Amen. 2 years later, we had rented an apartment. We were back in America, and we made the mistake of going to Victory Baptist Church in Roseburg, Oregon, where Clint Cavanis happened to be the pastor. And Clint Cavanis pulled me aside and let me know that I need to let my wife nest. That. He recommended I give her some money so that she could make our home a home. And then it began. Went back to China. Listen, guys, I gave her 2,000 renminbi. That's over $200. Serious. Have at it, baby. She made curtains. We got curtains for our windows. We had a couch, perfectly good couch. She made cushion covers for it. It was nice. I'm there. And we started accumulating stuff. Now, because I'm Army, we never got a lot of stuff. But Josiah and Amelia both got these crazy cool beds eventually. Lucky. And we eventually got the piano stuff, but we tried to stay mobile because Dad had a wife. That's what he's talking about here. Keep going, you'll see it again. 28, verse 32. But I would have you without carefulness. He that is unmarried careth for the things that belong to the Lord, how he may please the Lord. But he that is married careth for the things that are of the world, how he may please his wife. And to that I say, glory to God. And Paul says, that's limiting to me. I can't just be off to here and off to there and go over. I can't do that as easily if I have a wife that I'm bound to. To me, I'm like, lock me up. Yeah. Who wants me loose? Not me. But he's got a point. When you get married, you now have responsibilities, not just to take care of yourself, to make sure your spouse is happy. And ladies, that goes for you too. Just going to say, look at verse 34, you'll see that. There is a difference between a wife and a virgin. The unmarried woman careth for the things of the Lord, how she may be holy, both in body and spirit. But she that is married careth for the things of the world, how she may please her husband. To Paul, he's telling him, I would recommend you not get married. Because if you do, you're going to be having to carry all these things. Now, for me, I'm like, glory to God, that's awesome. I don't mind being limited, but it is limiting. It is limiting. It's part of it. Just go to another passage, Matthew chapter 19. I'm going to wrap this up quickly here. Matthew 19. Tonight, I want to tell you that the Lord would like to have you and me as flexible as we can in the situation we're in. And so because of that, sometimes He doesn't let us go through this life where we are a little bit too wide, a little bit too tall, that we can't fit anymore to where He wants us to be. For those of you who have been to the mission field at all, you'll discover something interesting. And that is that missionaries all around this world, all around the world, that we support, when they get on the mission field, they cannot, let me say it again, they cannot live on the level of the native population. There are a few that have done it. Mostly, no. It's interesting how the guy going to a certain country, he needs $8,000 a month of support in a country where the average salary is less than $8,000 a year. Why do you need that much money? Because over there, to live even close to the standard that he's used to, he needs to have a lot more money because everything over there is more expensive. I'll give you an example. Now, the Philippines is cheaper even for the missionaries, but if you go to the Philippines and you go to a missionary's house, the average missionary will have a house, a nice house, a Western-style house. Most of them will have air conditioning. You'll die if you don't have it. You'll die. They have a car. It usually has to be a pretty rugged car, otherwise it gets beat to death on those roads over there. His kids have got to go to schools. Oftentimes, they're international schools because they got to go to international. They're going to American-style schools. You know, they go. But if you could ever see a Filipino go out there, a Filipino, the young guy coming from the mountain, he doesn't even like a bed. It's too hard. Sleeps on the ground. It's okay. He doesn't care if there's no windows in the windows. There's no glass in the windows. That's okay. He doesn't need to have Western-style food every once in a while. No, he's fine with just rice and just a little plate, some simple fare, chicken, whatever. It doesn't bother him. And because of that, for the typical missionary, we're able to go make these little treks. And we think we are amazing how sacrificial we are to go for 2 weeks and not be able to take a hot shower or not to have this amenity or that amenity. But for those who aren't already bound to those things and used to it, the places they're able to go deep up there in that mountain to this far out village, and they can't just stay there for 2 or 3 days. They can stay there indefinitely, and to them it's not a huge sacrifice. It's a way of life. They have not bound themselves, and so that same thing translates into our lives. And now I'm saying this tonight is that this might be why God doesn't bless you to the extent you want to be blessed. Because He knows that if He did, it would suddenly cut off a whole lot of neat options that He would otherwise be able to take you in your life. Matthew chapter 19, look at verse 16, we'll wrap this up. And behold, one came and said unto Him, that's Jesus, Good Master, what good thing shall I do that I may inherit eternal life? And He said unto him, Why callest thou me good? There is none good but one, that is God. But if thou enter into life, keep the commandments. And he said to him, Which? And Jesus said, Well, thou shalt do no murder, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness. Honor thy father and mother, and thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. The young man said to him, Awesome! All these have I kept from my youth up. What yet lack I? Jesus said unto him, If thou wilt be perfect, go and sell that thou hast, give to the poor, and thou shalt have treasure in heaven, and come and follow me. Boy, he's close, isn't he? This young man's close. And when the young man heard that saying, he went away sorrowful, for he had what? Remember Peter, Andrew? Jesus comes to these guys. What are they? Fishermen. Follow me! And immediately they left all and followed him. What's the difference here? Something about this young man is going to keep him from enjoying a life of victory with the Messiah, watching him perform miracles, do things that are going to be eternal, to the point at which today we don't even know his name, but we still name our little babies Peter. We still have little Andy running around. We still have Johnnies coming around and Jimmys all over the place. We got them because those men left all. How could they leave all? Because they didn't have all that much to leave. So they were going to leave it behind. But this man had to walk away. His riches made him stop at that spot, and he could not go further anymore because he couldn't get through. That's why Jesus said, how hardly shall a rich man enter the kingdom of God. It is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter into heaven. Because in the end, it stops us from doing what we want to do. Now, is God against riches? No. But I'll tell you something, if God blesses you in that way, oh, that you and I might be at a moment's notice willing to just leave it all. But I can testify that the more I accumulate in my life, the harder, I can tell myself, I'll do it, but the harder it is at the drop of a hat to leave it all behind. It's easy for me to say, yes, family, if God ever calls us back to China or anywhere else, we're just going to drop it all. We're going to be gone. But you realize that right now, I know I've got a wife and I've got 4 amazing kids, and we are enjoying the abundance of God's riches that He's lavished upon us, and I thank Him for it. But I know, just to be honest with you, that the more I get, the harder it's going to be to say goodbye. And so what the Lord might want in your life, just might, is to keep you with your options open. And you may discover that going through life a little humbler actually opens up a whole lot more opportunity to do things that otherwise would be out of bounds to you because you don't fit through the bridge. You're a little too tall, a little too wide. If you had elected for a little bit smaller way through life, you would have had a whole lot more open to you. It looked like it would give you more options and a better life, a more abundant life. But actually, yeah, inside that little container, you can do a whole lot more than I can. You can have barbecues. You can watch TV. You've got your own little stateroom. But the place you're able to go, come a whole lot less. 2 weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago, we had a lesson on contentment. This might be the crux of it right there. The fact that, Lord, I don't know what you got planned for me. I thank you that you put me right where I'm at. What sacrifice is to be willing to get a moment's notice to say, God, I'm willing to shed a lot of really neat things to make myself a little bit more skinnier, a little more shorter, so I can fit through a whole lot more. And let me say, if there's every young person that's willing to sacrifice for Him, by doing that, you just opened up a limitless possibility of places He could take you. And it's so exciting. Let's bow and close our eyes. Father, I pray that you use this, however you want to use tonight. Pray that you please help it to just fix our hearts on you. Lord, help us to be grateful for the things that not only you've given us, but the things you haven't given us. Lord, help us not just to be thankful for the ways you blessed us, but thankful for the ways you have chosen not to bless us. Lord, I pray that you please help us, Father, to be ready at a moment's notice to give up what needs to be given up so that we can do what we need to do for you. But Lord, I pray that you help us realize that sometimes that's really hard to do. And this young man who was yearning to do something great with his life could not go forward because he had great possessions. Help us to realize that we're no better than him. Most likely, if we were in the same position, we'd have the same answer. We'd just walk away sorrowful, wishing we could do it, but we can't because we have too many good things. Lord, thank you for how you have blessed us. Thank you that in this room, there is no one here who's homeless right now. That we all have wonderful families. We all have places to live. We all have bright futures ahead of us. Lord, I pray that you please, I pray that you help us, Lord, to realize that the reason why you sometimes put us in the position you put us in and keep us where you keep us is because you want us to be able to do more for you that would otherwise be impossible if we had too much. Lord, I pray that you give us, Father, a heart that would say, Lord, take what you want. Make me usable. Make me as productive as I could possibly be by taking away whatever you need to take away so that I can then serve you wholeheartedly without distraction. Lord, please work in this church. Help us, Lord, to be okay with the fact that we don't have the biggest building. Lord, I think about that little Missionary Baptist Church, seeing its property and wondering if we could ever have it, realizing that if we did it, our Spanish ministry had no place to be. Lord, by being in this little place, this little business park, we're able to have the teens have their own room, the Spanish have their own room, and we're able to have classrooms for each group. Lord, actually, this location has allowed us to do a whole lot more than we could do if we had our own little building without the space to do it in the classrooms. Lord, thank you that you put us here, and Lord, you've moved upon this church to utilize this place to its fullest and allow us to do a whole lot more. Lord, now we get to have Spanish, we get to have teens, we get to have juniors, we get to have Chinese, we get to have the adults in here. Lord, thank you for all you're letting us do with this property. Help us not to belittle it. Help us to enjoy the fact that we can do so much.